Once upon a time, in a peaceful African village surrounded by hills and green fields, there lived a young woman named Linda. She was admired for her beauty, wisdom, and kindness, yet she was also known for her curiosity, a quality that often led her into situations beyond her understanding. One day, while fetching water at the village stream, Linda met a charming and well dressed man named David. He was unlike anyone she had seen before. His clothes were finely woven, his voice was smooth, and he looked confident like someone from the city. "Hello, beautiful," he greeted her with a warm smile. Linda blushed slightly but responded with politeness. "Good afternoon, sir." David smiled. "Sir, just call me David." As they talked, Linda found herself drawn to him. He was well spoken, knowledgeable, and seemed genuinely interested in her. When he asked about her dreams, she told him of her desire to see the world beyond the village. David smiled. "Then why stay here? The city is full of wonders. If you ever wish to visit, I can take you there." His words kept echoing in Linda's mind long after he left. The thought of stepping into a world she had only heard about excited her. Days passed, and each time David visited the village, he spoke more of the wonders of the city. One evening, he extended an invitation. "I have a beautiful home just outside the city," he said. "Come and visit. You will see for yourself how wonderful life can be." Linda hesitated. She had been warned since childhood never to visit a stranger's home alone. But David didn't feel like a stranger anymore. He had been kind, patient, and respectful. When she told her best friend Sarah about the invitation, Sarah was worried. "Linda, you barely know this man. You cannot just follow him to an unknown place." "But he's different, Sarah," Linda insisted. "He's not like the others. I feel safe with him." Sarah sighed. "Then take someone with you." Linda laughed. "I cannot do that. He invited me alone." Sarah looked upset. "That's the problem." But Linda's mind was already made up. The following weekend, Linda dressed in her finest clothes and met David at the village entrance. He had brought a horse-drawn carriage, its leather seats shining in the sunlight. "Ready for an adventure?" he asked, helping her in. Linda nodded, feeling excited. The journey was long, the road winding through thick forest and narrow paths. At first, Linda enjoyed the ride, but as time passed, the roads became rougher, the trees thicker, and a scary silence filled the air. "David," she finally spoke, "are we close?" David smiled but did not answer. Linda's unease grew. The village was far behind them now. The road ahead seemed endless. She swallowed her fear and tried to remain calm. An hour later, they arrived at a large compound surrounded by tall walls. The iron gate creaked open as they walked in, revealing a mansion, its windows dark and unwelcoming. Linda stepped out, looking around. There were no other houses nearby, no voices, no movement, just silence. Something felt wrong. David took her hand. "Come inside. You must be very hungry." Inside, the house was luxurious but scary. The furniture were beautiful, the carpets thick, but the air was cold, as if no one had lived there for years. Linda glanced around. "You live here alone?" David smiled. "For now." As they sat at the dining table, a maid brought food. The woman avoided eye contact with Linda, and her hands trembled as she served the food. Linda felt her stomach tighten. Why did the maid seem afraid? David poured wine into her cup. "Drink," he said. She hesitated. Don't you trust me? He asked, smiling. Linda forced a smile and lifted the cup to her lips. But before she could drink, a loud bang echoed through the house. She froze. David sighed and stood. Excuse me for a moment. As he walked away, Linda noticed something. A door at the far end slightly opened, and behind it, she saw something strange. A dress, torn and blood-stained. Her heart racing, she stood slowly, her instincts screaming at her to leave. But as she turned towards the door, she heard something that sent chills down her spine. A soft whisper, "Help me." Linda's breath caught in her throat. The voice was weak, barely audible, but it was real. Someone was in that room. Before she could move, David returned. His expression has changed. The warmth in her eyes was gone. "Where are you going, Linda?" His voice was calm, but with a hint of tension. Linda forced a smile. "Nowhere. I was just stretching my legs." David studied her for a moment, then smiled. "Let's finish our meal." But Linda knew she had to get out. As it was getting dark into the night, David excused himself again. Linda saw her chance. She tiptoed towards the door where she had heard the whisper. Inside, she gasped. A young woman, pale and weak, laid chained to the floor. Her eyes were wide with terror. "Please," the woman whispered. Her voice cracked. "He is not who you think he is. You have to run." Linda felt a chill run down her spine. She turned back to the door, only to see David standing there, watching her. His smile was gone. "You should not have seen this," he said quietly. Linda's heart pounded as she backed away. "Who is she, David?" David stepped forward. "You should not have come here, Linda." She turned and ran towards the front door, only to find it locked. Behind her, David walked slowly, unhurried. "Linda, don't make things difficult." She grasped a jar and threw it at him. It shattered at his feet, gaining her a brief delay. Then she did the only thing she could. She ran towards the kitchen. The terrified maid was still there. Linda grasped her hands. "Is there a way out?" she pleaded. The maid hesitated, then whispered, "The back door. Run now." Linda took off. Behind her, she heard David's footsteps quicken. She burst through the back door into the darkness. Branches scratched her skin as she ran into the forest. David's voice echoed behind her. "You won't get far, Linda." But she didn't stop. She ran for her life. Linda ran as fast as her legs could carry her, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The thick forest swallowed her in darkness, the moon barely peeking through the trees. Behind her, David's voice echoed through the night. "Linda, stop running. You won't get far." But she didn't stop. She couldn't. The uneven ground made her stumble. Branches scratched her skin, and roots threatened to trip her. Yet she pushed forward, fueled by terror and desperation. She had seen the truth. David was not who he pretended to be. And if she didn't escape, she would end up like the helpless woman locked in that terrible room. Her foot caught on a hidden road, and she fell hard to the ground, pain shooting through her ankle. She bit back a cry, struggling to push herself up. In the distance, she heard footsteps. David was getting closer. Her breathing stopped for a moment. She needed to move now. Ignoring the pain, she limped forward, forcing herself deeper into the forest. but her ankle hurt with every step. Suddenly, she saw a dim light between the trees, a small hut. With renewed hope, she pushed herself forward, each step an agony. When she reached the door, she banged on it desperately. Help me, someone. The door opened slowly, revealing an old woman wrapped in a tattered blanket. Her eyes sharp despite her age. She studied Linda with concern. What are you doing in the forest at this hour, young lady? The woman asked. Please, I need help. A man is after me, Linda gasped, looking back. The old woman frowned. Come inside quickly. Linda stumbled in, and the woman shut the door. Inside, the hut was dimly lighted by a single lantern. The scent of herbs and burning wood filled the air. Linda sat on a wooden stool, panting. Who is the man chasing you? The woman asked, pouring water into a clay cup. Linda gulped it down before answering. His name is David. He tricked me into visiting his house. But I found a woman locked inside, her voice trembling. I think he is dangerous. The old woman's face looked serious. You are lucky you escaped. Many others never did. You know him? Linda asked. The woman nodded. For years, women have disappeared after living with him. Some were never seen again. Others, their bodies were found deep in the forest, drained of blood. Linda's blood ran cold. Did anyone try to stop him? She whispered. The woman sighed. The village elders fear him. He is wealthy and powerful. No one dares speak against him. Linda's fist tightened. But someone must do something. We can't let him keep doing this. Before the woman could respond, a loud knock echoed through the hut. Linda froze. Open up! A familiar voice called from outside. It was David. The old woman gestured for Linda to stay silent. She moved slowly to the door, lifting the wooden lock just enough to peek outside. What do you want? She asked, her voice calm but firm. I'm looking for someone, David said smoothly. A young woman. She ran into the forest. I haven't seen anyone, the woman replied. David was silent for a moment. Then he laughed. You know, I don't like being lied to. Linda's breath caught in her throat. The old woman remained still. I'm an old woman living alone in the forest. Why would I lie to you? David sighed. If you see her, tell her she made a mistake. Then his footsteps faded into the night. Linda exhaled shakily, her hands trembling. He won't stop looking for me, she whispered. The old woman nodded. Then you must not wait here. You need to leave this place before sunrise. Linda swallowed hard. Where can I go? The woman's eyes glowed with wisdom. Back to your village, but not the way you came. There is another path, hidden through the hills. It will take you home safely. Linda nodded, determination settling in. I have to warn the others. Women need to know the truth about David. The old woman smiled sadly. Few will believe you, but tell them anyway. Before dawn, Linda set out. The old woman had given her a small pouch of herbs to ease her pain and pointed her towards the sacred path. Linda walked as fast as she could, her heart pounding with every little sound in the bushes. Was David still looking for her? Was he watching? Hours passed, and finally, she saw the familiar side of her village. Tears filled her eyes as she stumbled onto the main road. Sarah, her best friend, was the first to see her. Linda, where have you been? We've been really worried. Linda fell into her friend's arms. I have to tell you everything. That evening, the entire village gathered as Linda recounted her horrifying experience. Some were shocked, others murmured in disbelief. Then a voice rose from the crowd. She's telling the truth. Everyone turned. It was another young woman. Her eyes were filled with pain. David invited me to his home once. I escaped before it was too late. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Then another voice spoke. He approached my sister too, but she never came back. Fear and anger spread through the villagers. The truth was out. The village elders sent men to confront David, but his home was empty when they got there. He had disappeared. Days turned into weeks, and no one saw him again. Some said he fled to another village. Others whispered that something in the forest had finally claimed him. But one thing was certain: Linda's courage had saved many lives. From that day on, every woman in the village remembered her story. No one trusted strangers after that. And deep in the forest, the old woman sat in her hut, smiling to herself. She had seen many stories unfold, but this time, the ending had changed. The end.